Hello, you lovely lot, and welcome to the 36th episode of Access TV. Making PS3 a better place this week, we're in Brazil for the world's first reveal of Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, gearing up for this year's E3 in LA, and running away from not real but still scary zombies in a shopping mall in Reading. Before all that, however, it's Axes Out, Chimera Down for our PlayStation Vita Game of the Week, Resistance Burning Skies. Welcome to Resistance Burning Skies, everybody. Another game of rock, paper, scissors with mad-eyed Chimera in which the secret winner of every round is actually 1, 2, 3, this axe. If you're new to the Resistance series, what you've missed so far is Russia accidentally incubating an army of alien supermen who trample all over Europe and then America despite the best efforts of furious ape-man Nathan Hale. A feature of the series being that humanity somehow loses despite you killing enemies as fast as the PS3 can animate them. Then in Resistance 3, Joe Capelli and his new hair pick up the baton and do the decent thing by jamming it so far down the Chimeran pipe that Earth is safe forever. Or at least until now, when Burning Skies asks you to relive the Chimeran takeover of New York through the eyes of fireman Tom Riley, who's not only very good at carrying people out of burning buildings, but, it turns out, very handy with a range of experimental alien weapons. So, why does Burning Skies exist? The most obvious reason is to give PlayStation Vita its first full-on first-person shooter, and to put those much-discussed twin sticks into action. On this front, it's a big score. The shooting and movement never feel anything other than natural, which, when you consider you're popping the heads off mutant monsters in an alternate history apocalypse, isn't bad going. Better yet, we're here because there's still plenty of mileage in Resistance itself. Last year's Resistance 3 was by a stretch the most satisfying story of the bunch, and left us wanting to dig deeper into the world, which is what we get to do here with a bloodstained axe. The axe is just one of the ways the game uses PS Vita's unique controls, with a dedicated touchscreen button for instant thwunking. Touch controls are also very sensibly deployed for bullseye tagging, chucking or firing grenades, and whizzing through your weapons wheel to select the best gun for the job. Which is, of course, what Resistance is all about, carrying a giant toy box of mortal consequences about in your pocket and deploying it in different ways depending on your mood. Burning Skies not only proves that PS Vita can handle top-line shooters, it also proves that we're not done with Resistance by a country mile. Rubbing news ointment on those sore spots of ignorance now, it's your PlayStation briefing. With the new Skyfall trailer popping up last week, Bond was always likely to get another go at his most challenging mission to date, appearing in a decent video game. And it looks like MI5's finest might finally have cracked it with 007 Legends, which sees the suave secret agent reliving 6 of his most memorable missions. First up is Moonraker, which comes complete with bar-bending jaws, lots of exploding orange, and crucially, the moon. Dodging death to playing as him now, as we catch up with Darksiders 2 producer Jay Fitzloff and ask, have you made Death quite a nice bloke, really?
We created him, to look more human-like and to give him these human features, so it's a fun character to play and you feel cool playing it, and like we even have dialogue trees, and you get to choose kind of a thread or kind of an underhanded compliment and stuff like that.
Slash, uppercut, parry, underhand compliment. Yeah, that works. DLC scoop now, as Wipeout 2048 developers Carl Jones and Amy Nakajima confirm. Well, we'll let them say it.
We've got some DLC coming very soon. The announcements will be coming in a couple of weeks, I think. We're going to be rewarding the existing community, the guys who've purchased Wipeout in the past. They're going to be really happy with some of the stuff that's coming their way.
News that's almost as amazing as Amy's hair. And finally, if the thought of trudging through a busy shopping mall makes you want to die, then you can always try this abandoned one in Reading, which is full of dead people, or at least actors in zombie makeup ready to be shot with pellet guns in this airsoft-based simulation. If you fancy recreating those cherished Resi moments of panic and carnage, you can book tickets for the zombie shopping mall experience by heading to the URL on screen. That's your lot for now. We'll be back with another briefing next time. Time for a virtual takeover now. It's the week's best from On The Store. If, like us, you find the whole having to stand on the ground thing incredibly limiting, we recommend the demo of physics-fuddling PlayStation Vita title Gravity Rush, with the full game available on June the 13th. Hitting the right shoulder button disengages that most irritating of natural forces before allowing you to pop it back into existence wherever you like by tilting the console and touching the screen. How'd you like them apples, Newton? Batman Arkham City fans can look forward to another serving of DLC today with the release of Harley Quinn's Revenge, which naturally involves the clown princess wanting some sort of payback, presumably for ruining her makeup in the main game. Interestingly, you'll be playing lots as Tim Drake's Robin, but don't worry, he doesn't look rubbish and comes with a twirly combat stick. From cowls to scowls now, as available to download in full from the store today is Prototype 2. So now you've got no excuse not to enjoy the smiley adventures of serial man, drinker and anger enthusiast James Heller. Prototype 2 is a glorious open world, ripe for brainless bloodletting, so turn off your grey matter, turn on your extendable tendril limbs and make some helicopters dead. Finally, on the video store right now is Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, the daft, rompy detective sequel that's more about punching than puzzling. It does wheel out the big villain guns.
Professor James Moriarty.
And Jude Law is suitably dour, though we still secretly prefer the BBC version, which remains brilliant.
No pressure.
Oh, all right, this is worth a look too. That's it for now. We'll have more from the PlayStation Store next time. Prepare for imminent excitement, Access fans, as we reveal our plans for E3. But first, get the Kleenex ready, because the sad news is there won't be a regular episode of Access TV next week. I know, not even the Mayans saw that one coming. But the fantastic news is that we're at E3, beaming daily hits of Access TV straight to the PlayStation Store direct from the convention centre in LA. We've got front row seats at the highly anticipated Sony press conference. We'll be covering the hottest upcoming titles on PS3 and PS Vita, plus rounding up developers into a big interview pen before rifling them with questions. E3 runs from June the 5th to June the 7th, so check the PlayStation Store all next week for exclusive Access TV video content. See you there! We love football more than oxygen here at Access, and so when Konami asked us to hop on a plane to Sao Paulo for a world first look at Pro Evolution Soccer 2013, we were out of England faster than Rio Ferdinand. First on the agenda was a lengthy hands-on with a new game, where we proceeded to win lots while getting used to PES 2013's 3 new additions: PES Full Control, Proactive AI and Player ID. Here's team leader John Murphy to explain more.
Fully manual shooting for the first time, fully manual passing. We really haven't held back over the amount of control that you have over the power and the direction and over movement. Player ID, the idea of trying to replicate the stars of football. Proactive AI, which is really pushing the AI to second guess what you want to do.
We then asked the gentleman at Konami if the Player ID system meant Drogba would spend most of his matches rolling around on the floor like a massive baby. We're going to assume that's Japanese for yes. Away from the game, it was time for a trip to the Football Museum at Sao Paulo's Estadio Municipal, where we were treated to a history of footballs, the evolution of football boots, and most bizarrely, an exhibition of things you can play football with if you don't have that key ingredient of football. Yes, that's a baby's head. After a brief glimpse of the next generation of football games, looks like you've got a bit of lag to fix there, we took to the stands for a freestyle skills workshop. Yeah, very good. We'll show you how it's really done though. Give it here. Have it! Thanks to all at Konami for an awesome time in Brazil. We'll have tons more on Pro Evolution Soccer 2013 very soon. Before we head off into the sunset, remember when we met those big execs from even bigger comic giant DC last week? Here's what happened when we tried pitching them some superheroes of our own. So, guys, what do you think about Window Man, who's able to turn invisible but will shatter if kicked with a football?
I can see through that right away.
The hidden ingredient. A cat burglar capable of disguising herself as any food container in the kitchen.
That's not bad. There's a lot of foodies out there. You might try to capitalize on that whole excitement that's happening.
No, that's feasible. I would totally read that.
Mismatch. A young female gymnast with no abilities except that one of her hands is very slightly bigger than the other.
That would be wonderful in its own weird way. I would love to just read a comic about someone that's just sort of like, meh, and that's it.
The Undestructible. A man who's developed an imperviousness to pain, but only when he's not being attacked.
Oh, that sounds like a real pitch, man. That one I might, not green light, but like yellow light, and be like, give it a shot, we'll see how it goes.
The Nuclear Family. A family of 4 with super strength is fueled by the enriched uranium soup Mom makes.
We actually have a nuclear family in the DC Comics line. Yeah, the nuclear family actually first appeared in Batman and the Insiders back in the 80s. So I'm sorry to say that actually is a character we have.
We're already working on that one, sorry. Don't quit your day job, that's my advice.
You know, anything could be a good comic. I really feel that if you're passionate about the idea.
Thanks, guys.